Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Last American Pubcast, where everyone knows your name. And we're glad to be here with you guys tonight. We have a great lineup tonight for you, a great show, talking about the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party, saying they're deporting and using the military to move the illegals out of Martha's Vineyard, out of the homes of Barack Hussein Obama, Michelle Obama, and all the other hypocrites there in Martha's Vineyard. Fantastic story to talk about, where we're going to break down. And there's a whole slew of other great finds that we had over the week. So it's great to be here tonight. I am Frank with Let's Be Frank. Joining me, as always, is our wonderful co-host. We have Abby Libby from Conspiracy Pill.
Hey.
We have Tom from America Floats.
Hello.
And we have PJ Wartime Propaganda.
What's up? What's up?
And our guest for tonight, we have Rob from North Arrow Coffee. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about in only 2 hours. And of course, we have our favorite beverages ready to go for tonight. Don't forget, last call at the last 10 minutes of the show. We will answer all your super chat questions throughout and address all super chats at the end of the show. The last 10 minutes of the show, we will do that. If you guys want to follow us, all the descriptions are in the links down below in the description. You guys can check us out on our link tree, all of our places: YouTube, Twitter, Gab, Odysee, Rumble, etc., etc., etc. You're going to find us all over the place. So thank you for joining us tonight. And we are going to go ahead and dive into what is the biggest story of the week this week. And it's a little bit change of a pace, guys, from the FBI. Of course, that's still going on with investigating Trump and trying to arrest him or whatever. But in the middle of this week, the news cycle kind of broke up a little bit. And it gave us something else to look at today. And that is Ron Big D DeSantis, sending 2 plane loads of illegals to Martha's Vineyard. And they called a crisis at Martha's Vineyard. The residents, the most welcoming residents of the Democrat Party, the people that have the rainbow flag flying in their yards, and they have all the signs saying everyone's welcome. Well, you're welcome for about 12 hours, and then you got to go. So that's what we have here going on tonight, guys. Give us some thoughts on what's happening.
So people are saying 2 plane loads. Some people are saying it's only 50 people, which sounds more like a single Honda Civic's worth. It's not that many people compared to the 2 million that are crossing the border.
I can vouch for that. Growing up, we were able to fit many people in cars loads. As
I knew you would be the resident expert on this.
I am great. I'm able to verify and fact check that statement, and you are correct, my friend.
All right.
We didn't even need beans to do that one for us.
It is kind of interesting that there's a 50. That's the number, and they said 2 plane loads. So I just want to see the math and how that broke down.
That's what I was getting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too. It doesn't seem 2 Cessna, like single engine prop planes. What are we talking about here? It does sound scarier when you say 2 planes, though. They try to make it a big deal. It's supposedly shut down this whole island. But yeah,
I just want to know why everybody there wasn't like, yes, new gardeners.
Who ordered the extra maids and cooks?
Wasn't it Kelly Clark? Wasn't it Kelly Clarkson on The View that one time? She said, what did she say? Something about them being gardeners and who's going to clean your toilets? She said, if you deport them, who's going to clean your toilets, Trump? Yeah. So
the party of love and tolerance, my friends.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Obama's reaction to it? It was,
no.
Let me see if I can find. Well, why is it not sharing? Of course.
I'm assuming they opened their doors and
there
every
was
single one of their spare
Obama's
rooms was filled, correct?
Actual footage.
This is a real photo, by the way. Real photo. Was it not photoshopped at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, at Martha's Vineyard.
I think Michelle would have been holding the bigger gun there.
I was going to say, I know that's a fake because her arms are much bigger than that.
Much beefier.
Much beefier.
Oh,
so what does this show us? That we can remove illegals from our country pretty rapidly. What the Democrats showed us, using military presence to round them up and throw them onto buses and take them to a military installation, which now, in fact, they are now illegals in cages, by the way. Just wanted to throw that out.
Have
Yeah,
you
it's
seen circling around? There's photos of Martha's Vineyard Facebook groups where they're like, Steve, you have an extra beach home. You should have helped them.
I've seen the one where the guy says, "I'll pay to send them back to their country, but I don't have I don't want to keep them in my place."
I thought this was the point of a sanctuary state. I thought that this was the whole idea that you.
They don't have the resources, PJ. That's what Muriel Bowser said. We don't got the resources for it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, what has it been at this point this year? Is it 2 million that have crossed the border? It's record high. It's got to be around there at this point. We're over halfway through the year. It's over 2 million. So apparently El Paso is they are supposed to be a lot more gracious with these people than Martha's Vineyard. Makes sense to me. Well, I mean, also just look at the way NBC talks about these people. Like this was a deleted tweet, but this actually came from NBC News. They were talking. I don't know. It doesn't say in here who it was, but I'll just read the tweet. It says, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sending asylum seekers to Martha's Vineyard is like me taking my trash out and just driving to different areas where I live and just throwing my trash there. A founding member of a founding member of a foundation which helps refugees says, like, my favorite part of this is, like, they editorialized, obviously. They knew what they were tweeting out. They deleted it later on, so they must have not realized just how offensive it was. But they didn't name the foundation. A founding member of a foundation says. So, like, I'm reading this.
Tacos.
I don't think it's a real person, to your point, PJ. I think they create the thought in their own head, but they don't want to be the ones associated with that the quote. So they'll say, an unnamed spokesperson for a different foundation said, just to give it some kind of credibility. Not that it's like, hey, our editorialized statement is this. And I would just add, there are tons of different quotes they could pick. There are tons of different photos they can pick. There's a lot that they can lead with, and they led with that. So even if they didn't say it, they're saying it.
Yeah, breakfast tacos sounds a lot less offensive than calling them trash 3 times in a single tweet.
I think it's interesting that in with them calling them trash, we lose kind of the core of the tweet, which is your trash. Like, this is your problem. Our policies demand that the borders are open, but this is your problem. Hashtag remain in Mexico. All of remain in Mexico. That's really racist, but you all better remain in Florida.
Or at least that they admit it's a problem. They admit that the problem itself would create trash environment for your state.
It also leads to another point is Florida, I'm not a geography expert, but they don't have a border with Mexico. How did the migrants get to Florida in the first place?
Rob knows this.
They're from Venezuela.
Yeah, this is what the Democrat Party from Martha's Vineyard turned into, by the way. I'm just saying.
They just took their hair pieces off is really what happened.
Well, so Abby says they're from Venezuela, but unless you actually believe they came over here on a floating door, then that's not how they got here.
They got here through the border.
It was a bathtub.
Well, they got here through the border and then were taken to Florida by Democrats.
Yeah, because Joe Biden has been funding or has been using the military flights to fly them into other states around the country. This has been going on for a while. Actually, Peter Doocy had asked Jen Psaki back earlier this year about those flights, which Ron DeSantis was calling out, and we were already shipping them out as they were landing in. They were coming into Jacksonville Airport in the middle of the night. And when I say in the middle of the night, it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. That was the fact check they gave it, by the way. They fact checked it and said it wasn't in the middle of the night that they were flying. No, they were flying at 2 a.m. in the morning. So they were flying in overnight, and they were being dropped off in here in Jacksonville, which is 2 hours from where I live, is where they were being dropped off at. And so when Jen Psaki was up there trying to spin this, saying, well, it wasn't in the middle of the night. That's what the rest of the reporters ran with and the fact checkers. Well, it wasn't in the middle of the night. Like that was a win in some way.
Well, that they get away with it in the clickbait generation because that's exactly what Snopes does. If you read any Snopes article, it's fact check false. Actually, it's true, but 2 a.m., like you said, we consider 2 a.m. morning. We don't consider that the middle of the night, so fact check false. That's how they get away with all of this.
The whole thing's lie now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do it all the time, but like this, the point I think is funny because they're doing it they've been doing it secretly, middle of the night, 2 a.m. Sorry, early morning. Snopes, don't fact check me. They've been doing this early morning stuff when it's still dark out, I guess is the point. Biden's been doing this for what, almost 2 years now, and now that And now that DeSantis does it just openly, like, hey, instead of taking them and shipping them to redder areas in the early morning, we're just gonna in the middle of the day ship them to Martha's Vineyard, and all of a sudden it's a problem. They're literally, I don't know if you guys have seen the Twitter the blue check marks today, but they're all calling this human trafficking now.
Well,
thank you to our first super chat of the night, which is Waffle Salter. Thank you, my friend. Fact check, drink.
That is a fact check I will agree with. Yes.
Thank you so much, my friend.
It is
Fact
human
check
trafficking,
true.
but it's like a splinter in comparison to the plank in their eye, right?
Yeah, of course.
I guess that's the point, though. It's like it is, but it's and like you said, it's a splinter. But the point is, the right is doing this not because we believe in it. We're doing this to shove it in their face. So
to prove a point.
To prove a point, and exactly. So, like as a tactic, like sure, I don't think that it's good to just be like, hey, you came in the border, let's just ship you all over the country and turn all these areas, what the Democrats believe, will turn them all into forever blue areas. That's not a Republican or a conservative ideal, but the point is that we're doing it in your face, so that way you'll have to confront it and like expose their hypocrisy to some degree.
Yeah, I think I also question though, is part of Ron DeSantis's motivation not only to make a political statement, but is he actually doing his job and serving the people of his state right? Right.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Nikki Fried, who is our agriculture commissioner here in the state of Florida, who also that lost the nomination for governor, that she thought Twitter was real life, and all the support she had on Twitter thought was going to turn into votes, didn't. So she tweeted out. I had a story earlier this week about it. She tweeted out. She's like, "I just got off the phone with the White House, and I'm demanding the DOJ to investigate Ron DeSantis and basically in a window to arrest DeSantis for human trafficking." I'm like, isn't that what Biden's been doing this entire time with all the human trafficking that takes place every single day with the border towns being opened and shipping them out to other parts of the country?
So I guess I'm a little bit confused about the use of the term human trafficking, because when I hear that, I hear like this is not willing and you're making money off of it, just moving people from one part of the country to the other. Like, wouldn't that definition make all busing companies human trafficking companies?
Yeah, but there's illegal human trafficking,
and by trafficking illegals into the country. So
and then there's transport. You can transport humans, and the difference is under false pretenses.
If a coyote brings an illegal immigrant across the border, that's still human trafficking, even if the people want it.
Especially if it's a cute coyote. Little furry, cuddly.
Yeah. I didn't know coyotes were like carrying people over. Remember that whole thing for the debate back in?
Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
AOC said, "Oh my gosh, Trump's so stupid. He actually thinks that like part-time wolves are helping people cross the border." And it's like, oh my god, is she retarded?
That is the first time I've heard a coyote called a part-time wolf, and I'm gonna borrow that from you, but I'll give you credit the first 3 times. That was amazing.
Okay, I've been seeing a significant amount of conservatives, and this has surprised me, mad that DeSantis is doing this. Rob, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, so this kind of became this was a conversation in my own house. Because I saw it happen, and my immediate reaction was, wow, this is great. And my wife's like, yeah, but they're people. And I was like, oh, wait, this is true. So I do think that as true conservatives, we really want to be cautious about our motives when we're doing things. And we do have to understand that there's absolutely a human element to this. Yeah. However, I don't think that, yeah, but they're people argument, again, I'm just going to go back to my previous statement. Ron DeSantis was elected to do a specific duty, and I don't see it as being morally wrong to do this. I think to continue to inundate border towns, and then let's talk about what happened in Texas a few months back in the back of the 18-wheeler.
Yes.
Yeah, 53 dead.
Yeah.
Conservatives have not created this problem, and unfortunately, I think it's completely unfair to say that now we have to have a perfect solution to a problem that we didn't create.
Well, for people who don't know, sorry, Rob, I just wanted you to clarify on that story for people who might not remember it. The 18-wheeler.
Yes, story. I don't remember the exact count, but there was I want to say it was in the 30s.
It was in the 50s.
53.
It was in the 50s. That's crazy. 50
so that's why it's so odd.
It's
53 people died, and they care more about the 50 alive in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
Than the 50 dead in Texas.
So all of that could have been avoided if we would just simply follow our own laws.
Mhm.
and not
Yeah.
let people not have unchecked immigration into the country.
Yeah, I
Right.
think there's oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Abby.
I think there's two rebuttals. One is that yes, these people are humans, but they are also people who are humans who know that they are coming in illegally.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so if they get used as pawns in a political game in the discussion on illegal immigration, in some ways they did sign up for that the minute they crossed the border. The other thing is that DeSantis is just forcing these people to understand the result of their policies.
Yeah.
Like rather than keeping the problem hidden in these border towns, he's just saying, look, here's the problem. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
a
there is
simple-
a certain degree to what governors are able to do with the illegals. I don't believe they have the ability to ship them back to the countries of origin. I don't think that rests within the state's purview.
Yeah.
So it kind of limits what they can do with them. And utilizing, even if it comes off as a political stunt, then so be if it puts a spotlight on what's going on at the border and why we need to address this problem of the secure border which we've been told just recently as last week that we have a secure border and that there isn't a stem of illegals coming through, and even to the point to where Kamala Harris has yet to even visit the border. So we brought the border to her so she would see it outside her own home. And the people that are saying that it costs taxpayer money, it's going to cost taxpayer money regardless of housing them and dealing with them within your own state. So utilizing taxpayer money to ship them out and to a sanctuary city or state that are welcoming those individuals, well, apparently those are where they should be going to anyway. They shouldn't be going anywhere. They should be staying at the border. My stance on this is we should end illegal immigration, all immigration for the next 50 years. We should have zero legal or illegal immigration for the next 50 years. We have a lot to deal with in our own nation that we need to take care of and fix. And allowing this stem of people coming over. I know there is humanitarian crises and things like that happen. We can send aid. We can send people to go help those areas. However, we got to take care of our own nation. And one last point I would like to add on to what Rob was saying with a human element. I saw a lot of the blue check marks out there, a lot of the media trying to utilize scripture and Jesus to shame people that are saying, oh, this is great. Don't listen to those people. Don't let those demons utilize scripture because they hate Jesus anyway. They hate the Bible. They hate God. So I don't view anything or listen to anything they have to say when they start quoting scripture. Satan can quote scripture. So, there you go.
So it's all about tactics. And first of all, to what you were saying, Frank, it's entirely true. This idea that these people who openly and actively hate God and hate Christians come out and go, well, don't use God in your arguments, but also Jesus was a socialist hippie, so you should be too. It's stupid. Satan has done this tactic, but the tactic is if you ship them back across the border, they're back the next week. And if we continue to fight the same way that we've been fighting, we ship them across the border, they're back. We ship them across the border, they're back. That's costing taxpayers a lot of money. And it's not just enough to point out, and like part of this makes me question. It's because it's not just enough to point out that Democrats are hypocrites. Because guess what? They'll just go, yep, we are. And the next year you'll be in the gulag and you'll be laughing to yourself. Oh, hey, well, look at these hypocrites. They put us in the gulag.
No, they'll redefine what hypocrite means.
Oh, yeah.
They'll do that too. Yep. Yeah. So it has to be a tactic that is actually for an end. And that's the whole question about this. Is this a winning strategy? Because it's not enough to just go, the Democrats are hypocrites because they don't like people in their cities. And look, we ship them across and they come back. We ship them across, they come back. This has to be a tactic towards an end. And I think it's actually working in a lot more ways than. And well, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out, Cotton. But
well, they may have to think
I
twice.
think DeSantis is smarter than people give him credit for.
They may have to think twice before they send another bus into Florida, because this is not. Listen, at the end of the day, this is not faring well for Democrats. This is they can argue and blame conservatives and say that now that the way that he's handling this is morally wrong. But again, he didn't create the situation. This is a blue policy that created the situation.
Is the game like Bop It, where you had to hit the thing or twist it or flip it at a certain speed, otherwise it would scream at you? I feel like this is kind of a game of like hot potato. We're passing it back and forth. The Democrats in power now think if we can overload the red states and the border towns that are predominantly conservative with these people who they know are not going to benefit the environment that they inhabit, they will inhibit, then that's kind of their win. That's their strategy. If we instead say, okay, like PJ said, stop taking the hit, we instead kind of like go with it and allow that blow in. If we let them take that shot from themselves, I think that kind of, like you said, makes them stop swinging.
Yeah, I mean, why would they want to refuse all of these future engineers and doctors? I mean, why would they want to do that?
Diversity is their strength.
I'll also say it was not the Republicans that used illegal immigrants as pawns first. It's true that that's how they're being used by DeSantis, but it's not the first time. And also, they don't have rights in this country. That's the thing that people don't want to admit. They do not have citizens' rights. They do not have American civil rights. They just don't. They're not citizens here.
Yeah, to be fair, they're treated well. I mean, they're being treated with humanity. I understand the point of saying, "Oh no, not you." Rob made the point earlier that you have to think of them like, "Hey, but they're people," and that's totally true. But we also have to think like, which people are we taking from to treat them in any way,
right?
At all? Because those are also people.
They are, yeah, and of course we can't forget that. And obviously, Ron didn't send them on the back of a semi truck like Democrats continue to ignore. He sent them probably in, like you said, probably a couple Cessnas or whatever.
He said 2 plane loads. Yeah,
plane loads.
They had some leg room.
They weren't ugly planes if they only held 25 passengers.
It's far less inhumane to send them on a plane to the most rich island in America than it is to traffic them in through a sweltering truck over the border where they might die, where they're most of the time being sex trafficked anyway. So it's far more, what the Republicans are doing is actually humane compared to what the Democrats are doing.
So I guess it's not all bad for them.
If I could touch on the faith element or the scripture side of this too, is it's really a false dichotomy to say that, well, if you're conservative and you claim to be a Christian and you're for what Ron DeSantis is doing, then you're a hypocrite or you don't understand scripture, right? I think that it's very different when we talk about our personal application and how we live out our faith and how we live out our lives. Because the truth of the matter is, if one of those guys showed up at my house right now, I'd be giving them a home for the night. And I'd be making sure that they were clothed and I'd be making sure they fed, because that's what my faith tells me to do.
Right.
But the people that I voted into office that have a job to do to execute the laws that they're supposed to be following also should be held accountable. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying I expect the U.S. government to do the right thing from the beginning of the situation. And I could still be a Christian and live out my faith in my community, in my locale, in my household without having to be convicted of hypocrisy.
Right.
I want to address this real quick because I've heard a couple people say, he should have just sent them back to Mexico instead of Martha's Vineyard. He can't, right? He legally can't.
Well, I don't know that they're going to say it was illegal that he did this. So I think he should have gone for the gusto.
Let's say that he could, right?
Well,
let's just say that he could. If the strategy is to continue to send them across the Mexican border so they can be back next week over and over and over again, that's a losing strategy. It just is. We have to change the paradigm. We have to play the game differently. That's one thing Republicans never want to do. We'll hold to our principles and we'll play the game the same. And that's how the Democrats expect. And that's how they win. And that's why we lose, because we play by the rules that they set and they don't play by any rules at all. So if we continue to play the game into their hand, we're going to continue to lose. It just it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it is right to send them back to Mexico. But if they're back next week, did you win?
But also his argument was not to send them back to Mexico, but to send them to their countries of origin. Because if they're putting them on a plane, he can drop them in Guatemala. He can drop them in Bolivia, or wherever they're originally from. And that is a little bit different than just kicking them right over the border and then waiting for them to hop over again the next day.
Me and Frank, I think, are clicking on the same one. Sorry. It's like...
So I guess another fair point to make is that the old strategies haven't worked. So we got to try different things.
Yeah, because if the government was doing their job, then your Christian tenet of doing the right thing for the individual would work, and that we wouldn't have homeless people in the tens of thousands on the street. If we overflow the system and we flood it with needy people, then even the best of us who would give it all, they don't have enough to give all the people that need. So that's another problem. We should be, giving the people who need first here that are Americans because they've paid into that system.
So could we start shipping all the homeless to Martha's Vineyard next as well? Maybe we could try to spotlight on that problem.
Well, when New York is basically empty, right? So, at some point, New York City is going to be half empty. Why don't we just send them there?
I think half of them are there. The buildings are empty and the streets are full, unfortunately.
The ends don't justify the means. So I think this idea can be taken too far. However, there are so many points where Republicans will just stop short of any kind of interesting solution, and I don't really understand why. But I mean, there's nothing wrong.
I like what Carrie Lake says. She says DeSantis has the right intent, but the wrong strategy, and that overall you should be booting them across the border and then deputizing militias to keep them over the edge of the border.
Right.
So how fun would it be to take, I guess it would be shifts with your friends over the weekend to, tour your block and make sure that no one's crossing, look down the sides. Hey, get back over there.
Well, the thing did you guys see that story recently where the National Guard is at the Texas border trying to keep them out, and ICE came in and started opening the border and letting people in? I mean, that's the thing. It's the states versus the federal government on this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It always is.
Yeah. So again, like it's right to send them across the border. It's just not a strategy that is working right now, and I think we have to try different tactics. But on the other hand, like there has to be an end to this as well, because that's my real concern, is that the left is never dismayed by being called hypocrites. So if the only point is to show they're hypocrites, they don't care. So we can't continually forever send them to Martha's Vineyard. It's just not plausible. It doesn't go with our morals. If that's what the Republican Party becomes, is just bring all illegals in and send them to blue states. We're no different.
Wait,
so
we can't make it the new York? We can't just make Martha's Vineyard like a population of 3 million?
Why can't they make that a policy? I mean, the policy has been to continue to bus them and fly them into Florida.
We can build
wherever else.
They're gonna have to go somewhere.
Yeah, so we're at the quarter point here in the show right now, and you just wanted to remind everybody to go ahead, and if you haven't already done so, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on either channel, whichever one you are. Hopefully you're over on the Last American Pubcast channel over there. As we continue to grow that channel and continue to grow its influence, I'm hoping that you guys hit that subscribe button, and you can follow us at our various links right there on the bottom right-hand corner. Solo.to// Last American Pubcast. You can check out all of our links over there as well. And don't forget to check out also over on the official Twitter account of the Last American Pubcast right here at @last_USA Pubcast. So make sure you guys check us out over there. Share it with a friend. And everyone's welcome. We love having a good time here. We've been having a fantastic conversation tonight already.
If you don't
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, just if you don't take away any of those things, check out North Arrow Coffee Company.
Yeah.
And go and give them a look.
Yeah, Rob, why don't you tell people about your company real quick?
Yeah, so North Arrow Coffee is a new coffee company we just opened this year. That is a special product that Abby's holding up. You got to search the link out for that one. So we're a pro-life company, and when I say that we're pro-life, what that means is that not only are those the values that we hold, but 15% of all of our sales go to mainly crisis pregnancy centers, but then also some other organizations that are doing pro-life work as well, such as SaveOne.org, plug and Save One. I love them. That's what we do, and we have great coffee.
Yeah. So Cindy awesome. Duff asks, do you sell K-cups on your site?
We do sell K-cups on our site, and if you don't see anything you like there on the K-cups today, stay tuned, because we're actually going to be rolling out some more stuff over the next month or so.
Yeah, awesome. I want to say, like, one of the things I love about your website, I always say this on my show, is that you guys actually show how much of the money and where it goes is being donated. So it's not just a take it on faith kind of thing. If you guys are watching, there's the website on the screen. It's actually a really nice website. You guys did a great job on that. So, and I truly love your coffee. But there's one issue I have, and there's this discount code I was trying to use, Abby10. It doesn't work. It's broken. So if people want to get 10% off, they can use PJ10 for 10% off. So I just wanted to let people know that. Don't use Abby10, just doesn't seem to work for some reason. So
Rob, this is not true.
Rob, I wanted to ask you if you had a certain flavor. Do you have the milk and sugar flavor?
Do we have that meme or that video pulled up?
I don't have it pulled up now.
I mean, look at this. I mean, it's just, this coffee is so good, you guys.
Abby wants to know which one tastes best microwave.
Oh.
This has been my thing. I am such a coffee criminal, and this coffee is so good. I can commit whatever crime to it I want, and it still tastes good.
I'll tell you what. You know what? She's right. It's so good you can microwave it.
That's a good tagline.
Don't microwave it.
Hey,
Yeah, I've got the
Use-
French number 19 right now, but I want to get that blonde number 20 next. That one looks good.
That's
Everyone
that's
wants
the jam
the,
right now.
the blonde 20, don't we?
The
Everybody likes
Pumpkins-
20-something blonde. What, Abby?
So fun fact: the numbers correspond to coffees that I've tasted. So when we opened the company, I started tasting coffees. Right now, I've tasted 29 different coffees this year. So
Wow.
as I continue to taste coffees and roll out new products, that's where those numbers come from.
This is the pumpkin spice blend, the very basic, named after Michael Knowles special blend. If you want it,
Allegedly.
reach out to
Allegedly.
me on
Not endorsed.
Twitter. You can get the special secret link.
Thank you, Joseph Rivera, for that super chat, by the way. He
Yeah.
said, can't live without great coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, so as we get moving here on the next leg of things that we want to talk about, because the news cycle is packed this week with a bunch of stories that we want to talk about. And you had one that you wanted to bring up, didn't you, PJ?
Yeah, I was going to say, we got the midterms coming up and people are wanting to know who to vote for. And there was one granny that is making the case named Linda Paulson. And I just want to share this with you guys really quick. I don't know. I don't live in Utah, but I think she's got my vote. So oh, hold on. Why is this? I keep screwing this up.
You guys shared the
Come on,
There we
PJ.
go.
Come on, PJ.
I know. So check this out. This is Linda Paulson for Utah State Representative, District 12.
What?
Hey, Utah District 12, listen up right here. There's a new name on the ballot for the Senate this year. My name is Linda Paulson, Republican and awesome. Love God and family and the Constitution. I tried to get another conservative to run. Nobody could do it, so I'm getting it done. I'm pro-religious freedom, pro-life, pro-police, the right to bear arms and the right to free speech. I want less government control and regulation, want to stop and expose all political corruption where there's integrity, morality, accountability. Government programs should lead to self-sufficiency and support traditional family as the fundamental unit of society. But in schools, they're pushing for new beliefs. And just to clarify, as a female adult, I know what a woman is.
Yeah.
I'm moving to
Boom,
Utah
roasted.
just
That
so
was
I
a
can
good
vote
cut.
for her.
I love this country. It's a blessing to be free, but freedom comes with responsibility. The Constitution needs to be protected, not changed or disregarded, but resurrected. If you share my values, if you like what I stand for, then give me your vote on the 8th of November. District 12 needs a choice. Let me be your voice, Linda Paulson. Linda Paulson for Senate.
Watch out, Bryson Gray. There is some new talent in town.
That's it. Maybe they could do a collab. That'd be pretty sweet.
Oh my God.
I'm sending her some coffee this
amazing.
week.
Please, everybody share this video with Bryson Gray. Tag us in it. Like, we're
Okay, she needs a new graphic designer. But
But that's it.
that's
Outside
it.
of that,
She's got
What
it.
though? She got all of her points. Her whole platform, as corny as it is, I know she really like hit every button perfectly the whole way down.
The
Yeah.
production value is awesome.
This is something politicians are starting to realize is that people are really dumb. And so making campaign ads for like college educated people is just not doing
So
it. And this is what speaks.
I love that you said that, because there's one thing that's always annoyed me, and both people on the right and the left do this. They'll be like, look, this Democrat said that the voters are generally stupid. Can you believe that? And then they'll be like, look, this guy on the right said the voters are generally stupid. And everybody's like, yes.
They are.
Yes, voters are generally stupid. Like, why is this a controversial issue?
Have you
Most
seen
people are
Twitter?
generally stupid. Have you been outside? Have you been to Walmart?
Actually, I was there today.
So you know. Peopleofwalmart.com, by the way. Yes,
Oh, that's a
great
good one.
resource.
Of course, we're not talking about the chat. The chat is awesome and very
The chat
very
is
intelligent.
amazing. They're very
Yes.
smart people being here tonight. Yeah, definitely got to send that one to Bryson. He definitely get a kick on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of really
Oh.
silly campaign videos, I know the other one was the twerking lady from New Jersey. Does anyone recall the guy who dressed up as a lizard and he was running for the
yeah.
Senate? He was like, he's like, I want to
be.
be a lizard person. I've been over here Googling for it and I can't find it. I'm
Didn't
looking
you
for
have
it
that,
right
PJ?
now.
Did you ever play that?
PJ's got that.
No,
one.
we didn't play it.
Someone
played it.
inboxed me that like last month, and I thought we were going to play it, and we must have forgot. I'm gonna see if I can find it in my DMs.
I just want to tell the audience while you guys are typing. I can see their screens as they're quickly looking for it. There it is. You guys.
Okay, there we
the
go.
Audio.
There it is.
Quicker
You
than
guys
me.
share the audio. There you go.
Is that too
Nope.
loud?
Nope, it's not on yet.
You forgot to click the audio button.
Yeah, the audio.
Ah!
Yeah,
Here.
Exit out and then go back in and click the audio button when you load it up.
I'm gonna link it, and one of you do.
All right.
Live tutorials.
Do it.
Sorry, I'm a woman.
I got it. Yeah, that's what it is.
Did you get it?
I wasn't gonna say it out loud, but yeah. So
Got it.
All
Oh,
right.
you got it? I got
Who
it.
got it?
No, that's a
Somebody
different
got it.
thing.
that's
You
the
sent
wrong one.
Yeah, you sent a Twitter link
Yeah, you
about
sent
a
it.
fat lady.
This
Do
is
we want to talk
That's
about that?
not a
Lumber?
lady.
That's not a lady. And that's Abby, that's not the link.
and we let you people drive.
Oh, what is happening right
The
now?
brakes are on the left, the accelerator's on the right.
I'm so sorry.
I'm thinking about looking into Saudi Arabia's policies for letting women drive.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, there it is. I promise. There it is.
All right, I
Sounds
got you.
better all the time. Do you have it?
Such a boomer.
Tom's got it.
All right.
Gotta have a man do this job. Yep.
Tell me about it. All right, put
Who
it in
got
theater
it?
mode. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
You started playing just in my ear. That was really loud. All right, please. Give me a little jump.
Such a good ad, though. I love it.
Hold, please.
In a
No, it
little
wasn't
bit, we
even
should
an ad.
find that why women should not be police officers. We got a video on that too.
Yeah.
I want to be a lizard person.
There we
Okay.
go.
Can you see that? Are we
Yep.
all good?
Yep, we're all
Yep.
good.
All right. Oh, the dimensions are a little goofy.
It'll work.
All right.
There you go.
They say to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I want to become a lizard person. To rule you, I'd like to lie to your face and then do something else because it benefits me. I would like to be as corrupt as possible. I would like to enrich myself and then tell you it's for your own benefit. I'm Jeremy Kaufman, and I'm running for U.S. Senate.
The lizard people.
Power to the lizard people.
I'm serious.
Does anybody,
Amazing.
I think New Hampshire had their
Is that
primary.
not
Does
great or
anybody-
what?
Does anybody know if he won his primary?
I don't know.
New
I thought
Hampshire.
like
hope
a couple
so.
days ago, I thought it said lizard man loses conservative, but I don't know if that means like anyone. I don't know. It could be anyone.
Waffle Salter said he wins. Maybe did he win? I don't know. Somebody let us know. That'd be awesome. If you did.
Yeah.
We need a fact check follow up on the lizard man.
On the lizard man, can we find,
Jeremy Kaufman.
can
did
we
you
get
win?
Bean? Can we get Beanie the cat on that, please?
Yeah. What's the use of a fact checker if you can't look this stuff up for us?
So, PJ, go ahead and bring up that tweet about the drag queen that died on stage.
I don't know if we want to see that again.
I think I pulled it up.
He
Yeah,
was
here
so
we
ugly
go.
the first time, that old guy.
All right.
Why Abby does with Beanie over there doing the
Yeah,
fact
so it
check?
says plus size Philadelphia queen 25 dies during her performance at bar. It says tributes have been paid to bright and rising, but not quickly. Plus size drag queen who collapsed and died mid performance at Philadelphia bar, aged just 25. In the little cliff notes, it does say that the small 2.4 earthquake was caused at this collapse. But yeah,
Wow.
Well-
yeah, bright and rising. She's not rising any longer.
And
She's on
not
her
bright.
back.
Not bright.
well, I was gonna say she's not rising too quickly either with or he. I keep saying she because it's just in the article. It's so
Yeah.
hard, but yeah.
Yeah. It's to the point where we are. The media can't even be honest with themselves when they talk about drag queens because they're really men
But
parading around
that's
to be
the
women.
weirdest part
women
about-
face, woman
That's the-
face.
That's the weirdest part about this is I thought there was a difference in their lexicon of the LGBTQIDGAF community, that drag queens were men who did this, that like got pleasure from dressing up as women. I didn't think that they were the same as trans.
Zombie drag
No,
queens
they're
now.
I suppose.
Drag queens aren't trans. Jeremy Kauffman is on the ballot for the general election in November. He is running as a libertarian, so I don't know if he had to win a primary.
Oh, okay. So, nice.
All the power to him.
Yeah, hope he wins. Hope he gets to be that loser.
I don't even care what he stands for. I just want to see someone like that in
just for the memes. Just for
That's
the
actually
memes.
how a lot of people voted in 2016.
Yeah.
You think he'll show up at Capitol Hill dressed like that?
I want him so badly to walk onto the Senate
man.
floor in the lizard costume.
Like I like politics for the entertainment value. That's
The
why I
absurdity
almost
of it.
want.
And address all his Senate colleagues as my fellow lizards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This is why I almost want that tumor with a politician growing out of it to win in Pennsylvania, just for the memes, just for the lols. You know what I
Just
mean?
for walls.
Not seriously, but like part of me would be entertained by it.
PJ, speaking of memes, The Atlantic wrote an article today or yesterday talking about the meme war.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. So let me see. Now it's saying, okay, so we got this from The Atlantic. It says, Trump used memes to send thousands of people into battle against democracy itself. And the meme replies are great. So yeah, The Atlantic's article literally reads how memes led to an insurrection. And people started memeing this.
So wait, you're not allowed to. Can you call yourself a veteran of the meme war anymore safely online or no?
Well, I was going to get to that. We have this meme here.
It
It says,
only if you got a medal.
don't let the autism fool you. The future belongs to us, meme war veteran. The Atlantic is a parody magazine. Change my mind. SpongeBob burning the paper. Bernie Sanders, I'm once again asking to meme The Atlantic out of business.
Was that the ghost of Kiev flying that jet plane?
Yeah, it was the ghost of Kiev flying the. As soon as I joined the group chat and it's an F-15 dropping meme bombs.
We laugh, but there is an element of truth to this that they are saying, and it's interesting because we are fighting a Cold War online, and memes are part of the artillery of this. But it's interesting that they say it, because if they say it, that this war is being fought online, then they have to admit that they are taking people out of the battle by banning them from social media platforms.
Boom, roasted.
In the information war, exactly right.
Yeah.
That's a dig. Is this worse than 9/11?
The problem with their insurrection is it even they can't claim that happened online because they just kicked everybody off of social media. So if the insurrection also goes along with this cold online war, then I don't know what the case they're making for it is, because they literally claim it led to an insurrection. I haven't seen one yet, unless we're talking about Sri Lanka. But yeah,
I'm on my fourth internet personality already on Twitter, so they've killed off 3 of my troops.
It's interesting too, Abby, what you said about like is when they say it, it gives them power. It gives what they're talking about power, validity, or credibility. The left, whether you want to believe in it or not, they believe in like the whole left-hand magic and giving things power, spells, and all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
right.
And I think they, having admitted like there is a meme war and these memes are effective, that by itself is maybe a mistake on their end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have 3 purple hearts in the meme war, by the way, right now.
Based, Frank. Based.
Yeah, how many YouTube accounts and Twitter accounts do we have to lose before we get, a Medal of Honor? Because I have 7 and 3, 7 and 4.
That Jurassic Park one is awesome.
You get a purple heart if you get banned as a conservative for any reason. You get a bronze star if you get banned for saying something true.
Tom's that guy in every war
medals.
movie. Tom's that guy in every war movie where they're standing there in a field and they're like, "Did you hear that? I don't know." And then bam, his head explodes and he just dies. Like, and that's how the battle starts. Because his Twitter has been nuked 3 times before he even tweeted in the last 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah, I've had. I'm on like my 7th and final YouTube. It's crazy.
PJ's the guy from Saving Private Ryan at the very beginning, where he fades from the young guy to the old guy to remembers all the his fallen comrades.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be the guy that's leg goes flying.
Yeah.
Speaking of wars and veterans, do we want to pull up that video of Dan Crenshaw and Alex Stein?
Oh yeah.
Neither of them are actual veterans.
Fun fact.
Oh,
Fun fact.
I
Who
don't know
has that? I
has
thought
Who
you
has
had
that?
that, Tom.
You're gonna see triggered Rob here in a These guys both get under my skin.
I am really excited for Rob's reaction.
That's
to
why
this.
we're bringing it up, just for Rob's reaction.
I'm already turning red.
So, Rob, for anyone who doesn't have the context, you served. What was your service?
I was in the Marine Corps. Yep. And I don't like to push it too much, but I know you want to know. So I was in the Marine Corps, 2 tours in Iraq, got out of the Marine Corps, and then I basically lived in Afghanistan as a private contractor for almost 2 years.
Oh wow.
So what he's saying is he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's not an Air Force beard, that's for sure.
That's a Marine beard.
This is the IDGAF beard.
But all of his PTSD comes from the meme war. Just so you know.
Yes.
How
All of
secure
it,
that
all
was.
of it.
Oh,
All of it's
Man,
fucking
yeah, that rumble feature on the phone is what gets him.
that meme of the dog with all the war behind.
Yeah.
with the helicopters.
That
Dog
needs to be
vibrates.
Frank's profile picture, I think.
Yes.
All right, roll the
Oh,
clip.
man.
Who had? I didn't have it. Somebody
Is
else
there-
had it pulled up.
I don't
earlier.
have it. Who had it?
I think it was in the private chat.
Is it a private chat?
Hold
I
on.
sent
Let
it.
me
First
see.
one had to
It's
send.
my fault again. Blame
I
me.
do have it. Abby
Real
posted
truth.
it in the chat. I've got
Real
it.
Truth Cactus. Will she do that meme? Of
I'm anti-war.
Sorry.
you got to put it on the screen there.
No, I know. I was just queuing it up before I put it on the screen. It started. So
PJ,
Here we
you're gonna
go.
lose your privileges, PJ.
I'm gonna lose them again. Yeah, I deserve
Here
it
we
too.
go.
Yeah, I'm a loser.
War project. This is the guy. This is the guy who tells veterans that their service. is
Yeah,
wasted.
yeah, because there's a weapons of mass destruction that didn't
Yeah, so
exist.
he
So I'm
says that
anti-war.
everything that we
Yeah.
serve for was a
Yeah,
waste
I'm
and a
anti-war
lie.
because
He's
I don't
putting this-
believe.
he's putting
Did you
this on
guys
his
find any
little
weapons of
channel
mass
right now.
destruction?
Can you imagine that?
of fact, we did. Oh, where was? Oh, what weapons of mass destruction? This guy.
You're actually going to go down this route, Alex.
Yeah, because we don't have any weapons of mass
You're
destruction.
looking like a fool right
Dude,
now.
I'm
You're
the fool.
telling
You're
veterans,
the one that's getting
not
more
just
money to
me,
Ukraine.
but plenty
We
of
have a
veterans.
homelessness. We have
You're
so
telling
many
plenty
issues
of
here in
veterans
America.
that their
Who cares
service
more
was
about
wasted.
Ukraine?
You're
Yeah, it was.
disgusting.
You guys' service was wasted
You're
for
disgusting.
globalists and bankers.
You are the modern day
Yeah,
version.
oh, I'm the modern day
of people
version.
who
You
spit
worry
on
more about
Vietnam
Ukraine
veterans.
than I. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
loser.
so that's
real quick
actually
before Rob's reaction, just a follow up on this. Dan Crenshaw had the Capitol Police go pay him a visit right after that confrontation to make sure they checked out his credentials. He said that he was harassing members of Congress outside. So
that was the second part of the confrontation too. There was
Yeah,
an earlier part. I don't know. I don't have that pulled up, but I
have
try.
I have that. I'll grab it.
Yeah. Do we want to play that one first for more context, or we want to just?
Yeah.
Rob's ready to go. I'm just
Let's
waiting.
go.
So yeah, well, I think that first frame, Alex Stein's teeth, I think they'd look better on the ground. I'm going to start with that. I want to know when Dan Crenshaw finally came out as a Democrat. Because
Officially or unofficially?
well, he's just his whole. I got it. All right. Painfully enough to say, I actually totally agree with Alex Stein's premise. And I think a lot of us do. And if you're a veteran and you can't accept the message that we went and fought a war, listen, no solace comes with knowing that there was moral ground for the war. Right? We executed our duties. And I'm good with that, but I'm also perfectly fine admitting that we were doing the bidding of this government. It gets me fired up, man. Iraq was there. It was preemptive strike. We should not have been there in the first place. Afghanistan, we should not have been there in the capacity that we were, and then we shouldn't have left the way we did, and the way that we withdrew from that country just to have Taliban flying our gear around, killing more people. I hate to admit it, but Alex Stein is right. We need to just face that down and accept that, because if we don't learn from this, we're going to continue to go into these useless wars that do nothing but cause death and destruction. For basic people on both sides. I've met Iraqi families. I fell in love with those people while I was over there, and they were more devastated by this war than I think we could ever realize. So I'm gonna chill off because I really go off on a rant here.
I want to
here's
throw
the
this
first-
out before we watch this clip.
Go ahead.
I've seen
Tom.
enough of Alex Stein on other programs, and I've seen enough of him interacting with other people socially and on the spot to get the sense, and he's even said some of this, he is doing an Andy Kaufman-esque
Right.
political take. So him being insane and bombastic and just crazy, it's not just in front of the city council member meetings. It's also when he's doing these kinds of, AOC, your ass is so sweet, it's so big, it's so great, or this. So I just want to give him that, little benefit of the doubt that if he comes off as obnoxious, that is his intent.
He's playing a character, whether we like the character or not.
Right.
He's playing,
and it's effective whether we like the character or not.
Yeah. So here it is.
Could somebody put ET on Dan's face here and just put ouch in the caption?
Real
He looks
cactus,
like
I
the
think
cat
you're up.
meme. Someone's got to put a girl behind him. He's
All right,
pointing at
here
the
we
hat.
Dan, you're just such a little loser. That's it. I was trying to grab my thing. Look, you're too slow. He's too slow. Navy SEAL. It's funny, Dan, how you said you're tall. I'm small, but I'm so much taller than you, Dan. I'm so much bigger than you. You're just you're a little sad little boy. I'm the little one. Imagine me calling you out because you're a globalist. Oh, I got a job. I work for the Blaze. I make a lot of money. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do, Dan. Yeah, I make a lot of money. Yeah, I'm a loser.
Word project. This is the guy.
All right, so this is where we so that's where we picked up on the other one.
Yeah.
So
I want to say this about Alex Stein really quickly. My only real issues, like, I actually agree with Tom on this. I think that he's being a character. I think that he's being effective. So and part of his character is to make you hate him. So I totally get that aspect. For me, with Alex Stein, what I don't like is I don't actually want to see him become a politician. I think this is where he needs to be doing his work. I think him being the provocateur, being the villain is his best work. And the reason I say I don't want to be a politician is I've heard him on podcasts talking about his policy prescriptions for Texas, and I think that they're awful. I really do. Like, I do not think this guy belongs in office. But as far as being a provocateur online and doing this type of work and being the villain and being that character, as much as you hate him, he is effective.
See, that's where I just want to throw the caveat that I think that is where he is pulling your leg. I don't think anything. I don't think anything he is saying on a podcast is true, and I think he's admitted as much.
Okay.
And so when he wants to get everyone to agree, and then everyone to agree a little bit further, but then he'll start to walk everyone back, and before you know it, he's walked everyone else into the corner with him, and now you're agreeing that the moon landing didn't happen and the Earth is flat. That's almost what he got the Timcast IRL people to do like 2 weeks ago. So this is his whole thing, is to see how much he can get you to swallow bait.
He's really, really good at what he does. I will say, I've talked to people who have interacted with him in real life in a capacity where there were no cameras on, and he was a real asshole. So I'm not ready to celebrate him, but
he has his uses. I think that's the thing about it, right?
Yeah. And I think Joel Berry made a good point on Twitter where we might not like a tactic. We don't have to like a tactic to recognize that it's effective.
It's the same as the Martha's Vineyard thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And circling back, like Saki would, to what we were saying.
I'm so
earlier.
mad I got rid of my circle back button on my board because you guys have said it so many times tonight. I don't have it ready.
The song is really great too. Maybe we can pull that up.
Yeah.
I want to say I work with combat veterans. My company works with combat veterans, and we've been seeing. Rob made a good point that there's no solace in kind of believing a lie, like trying to convince yourself that what you did was like a completely just war. But what we can say is we're still thankful that you went and did what you thought was right at the time. We're still, you acted on what you thought was true. A lot of you guys saw 9/11 happen, truly believed that our country had been, attacked, and that it was correct to go and defend. And we're still grateful for that. And we're very, very grateful that you survived the war that you fought. And so the service is not wasted in some ways, and it's really, really tragic, but in other ways not.
Yeah, we can't make up a fake rule that says that every war or conflict we've ever gotten involved in was righteous.
Right.
And that the second that we admit that something wasn't, that we're coming against veterans, it's false logic. It doesn't work.
Yeah. And it's incorrect to attack the veteran for the unjust war when the generals and the government are who sent you.
I also don't think that's what Alex Stein is doing. I don't think that's what anybody, I shouldn't say anybody. There are people like that, but I don't think that's what most people are doing when they criticize the war. I don't think they're attacking veterans, and that's a false dichotomy that's being made. So
real quick, we got a $50 super chat from Waffle Salter. It says, YouTube is asshole was messing with me while trying to say thank you for your service. And this is directed to Rob. So there you go, Rob. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service, Rob. Thank you, Waffle Salter.
Good evening, everyone.
For anyone that was interested, this is the Jen Circle Back
I'm going
song.
to circle back. I hate to disappoint conservative Twitter, but I am going to circle back on a number of things, as we often do directly. I'll circle back. Circle back. I hate to disappoint you. Circle back. Circle back. That's an excellent question. Circle back. Circle back. I hate to
Such a good
disappoint
jam.
you, but we will venture to circle back with all of you. This is such a good question. I have not had the opportunity to dig into that. I'll circle back.
It was a massive dump. To this day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from.
I'm not aware of anything, but we'll circle back. As a mom myself, I want to know all the details. I have to circle back.
Come on, man. You know what I mean?
I will venture to get you an answer on that. Maybe we can talk about it and we'll circle back. I will have to circle back on that one. But we'll circle back. But I will have to circle back with you. Let me give you a very specific example. Circle back. I hate to disappoint you. Circle back. Circle back. That's an excellent question. Circle back. Circle back. I hate to disappoint you, but we will venture to circle back.
This president knew back in January. Why didn't he tell us? Why did he warn
We're
us?
like halfway through this, you guys.
One of them is circle back.
We don't have to watch the rest of it.
I don't really have any predictions for you on that. I can circle back.
It's going to be stuck in my head forever, and I'm not even mad about it.
Let me see if I can get
We
more
didn't
detail
deserve
for you
Jen.
on that.
We didn't appreciate her while we had her.
We really should have appreciated it.
I'll
Well,
try to answer as many
100%.
questions as possible. I'll circle back.
I wonder if she got let go because they were just like, listen, you got to stop saying circle back, and she couldn't.
Well, as you know, let me give you a very specific example. I'll circle.
Do you think they let her go or she jumped ship? Because didn't she
jumped
get
ship.
like
I
a
think she jumped ship.
Yeah, she jump shipped.
Yeah, because the diversity the hire they replaced her with is worlds worse than she
Oh,
is.
Yeah,
You guys-
she's like bottom of the barrel.
Let me give
Yeah.
you another perspective. She was promised by NBC Universal this job and a sweet deal and a golden parachute if she puts up with Biden for the first X amount of months, and she probably gets a bonus for going past the first 6. And so she held on as long as she could, and then she's like, all right, fine, get me out. And that was the entire agreement because no one else is going to take that job for him.
Yeah. She is a veteran of the Biden White House. She deserves a medal.
All right, I have one more story
Circle
here
ship medal.
before I have to get out of here for the evening. I got this one story I wanted to pull up because I think it's fantastic what took place here. This was happening at Chick-fil-A here in Florida. You guys might have seen this over here. A Chick-fil-A employee at Fort Walton Beach, Florida, sprang into action to help a woman with a baby who was being carjacked. And afterwards, he whispered in the assailant's ear, "It's my pleasure." So here we go.
Not a bad chokehold.
I'm actually, I'm kind of breaking this down.
He's
I wonder
going
if
to go out. He's out. He's out.
He's tapping right
moving.
now. He's tapping.
No, he's already out. He's slumped
yeah.
over. Just let him
No one's
out.
even helping him. He's like, I got this, guys. Just back off a little.
I've used that on
Amazing.
somebody. It's effective.
Give him air. He's like, yeah, he's not able to breathe.
I've had that done to me. You go down fast.
Did he give him the rude awakening from what was the wrestler? The
Oh yeah, he's dazed. He's not even trying to get away.
Abby, did
He
you
asked
burn
him,
your
"Do you
husband's
want a
dinner
original
that
or
night, or what
spicy?"
happened?
Wow.
He asked, what kind of sauce do you want?
that was the lady right here that was being carjacked with the baby.
What is she saying?
How
How
dare
dare
you
you
scare
scare
her
her?
like that?
Scare my daughter or my kid.
So yeah, that dude should get like a lifetime free spicy chicken sandwiches from
Life,
Chick-fil-A.
yeah.
He probably will, to be honest. I mean, Chick-fil-A does a lot of
I think he
stuff
should
like
go to jail. He tried to carjack a lady.
Oh, that's probably the most base thing I've seen all week this week.
Yeah.
I love Chick-fil-A.
And that's why I will wait 20 minutes if I ever have to wait 20 minutes at Chick-fil-A line because the service is fantastic. And I don't, and now I don't have to worry about even being carjacked in their line.
Chick-fil-A really is a picture that's about more than the food. Like that's something I think everybody recognizes. Like people make fun of it, but Chick-fil-A really is like their food is good. And I've heard people go, "Oh, Chick-fil-A is overrated. It's not that good." It's like it's really always been about more than the food. It started off being about more than the food because the only reason that Chick-fil-A is nationwide at this point is because the leftists threw a fit about the owner donating to like anti-LGBT causes or whatever, right? So
right.
Pro-traditional marriage guy.
Pro-traditional marriage, that's what I should say. Yeah. So
such a extremist he is.
Right. Yeah, but it's true. Like if you go to a Chick-fil-A and then go to the McDonald's across the street, and you will see a difference in employees. You'll see a difference in the way you're treated. Everything. It's an entire atmosphere. So
so we've reached the halfway point of tonight's stream, and guess what? We still have another hour to go. So if you haven't shared it out yet to your friends or family or your favorite social media network and put it out there, make sure you do so. Invite somebody over to come be part of the Pubcast because there's going to be an empty chair here at the bar here in just a few minutes as I have to head out. It has to be replaced. So invite one of your friends, send them a link over, hit that like button. And of course, if you want to follow all of our links, if you want to check out where Abby's streams from, if you want to see Tom, or if you want to see PGA, you can follow our all of our home links right there at solo.to/Last American Pubcast. And you can also follow us over on Twitter as well at @last_USA Pubcast. So go check us out over there and become a fellow pubcaster.
So you guys, that guy at Chick-fil-A, you think he showed up for a spicy chicken sandwich and ended up getting a spicy knuckle sandwich?
I'm not even gonna grant that a chuckle.
You guys, Cactus made us some memes. Do you want to see them?
Oh yeah,
put them up. I'm looking at them right now.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, so first, PJ.
Wait, zoom in a little bit. Blow this up.
How do I do that?
Control plus.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know if I did
You know
it
where
right.
the plus button is? Yeah, there you
I
go.
did it, but
I am a meme war veteran now, though. That's what I'm seeing
That's
over
beautiful.
here.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. What else we got?
She got confronting Crenshaw.
They got
the little.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like an awkward picture.
It kind of looks like a bad, like fake mirror picture. Like people were trying to line up.
Yeah.
I figured out how to blow it up. Okay. Anyway.
It's causing a flashback just seeing the meme. Yeah.
Is your phone starts to buzz and you just go into that daze?
Yeah.
Actually, I feel bad for Crenshaw that he has to pay for a full set of sunglasses.
He should get a half off.
That's it.
It's interesting. It's interesting to me that both Dan Crenshaw and John McCain were both guys who gave a lot for our like John McCain gave a lot for our country, and that just doesn't.
And then took a whole lot back.
Yeah.
Yep. Does it automatically make you right about everything?
Yeah. So
Well, he was also given a lot before he gave a lot. Like his dad was the
the
leader of the boat. He was given access to. He kind of didn't.
upcoming, we're going to PJ is going to lead the rest of the conversation as we head into this conspiracy theory of Britney Spears covering for the disasters of George W. Bush's presidency. And upcoming, Tom has a great impression of George W. Bush that he will go ahead and lay out there in just a few minutes. As
I've
PJ
never heard of that.
And Rob will talk to you guys a little bit more about his coffee company and the great products that they sell. And Abby will give you a preview of upcoming things that's going to be happening over on Conspiracy Pill as we head into the outro of tonight's show. I just wanted to say thank you to all of our co-hosts tonight. Thank you to Abby, Tom, and PJ as I am bound to leave right now and because I have to go tend to family stuff. And Rob, it was fantastic having you as a guest on tonight. I hope that we'll have you back soon in the future before the end of the year. That'd be fantastic if we could do that. And outside of that, thank you to all you guys out there. I'm heading out of here for tonight. Guys, don't forget to shut the light off on your way out. I'll see you guys later.
All right, Frank, we're going to stick you with a tab. So when you get back, don't be surprised. Have a good one, Frank.
All right, see you guys later.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say before we move on, the whole Crenshaw joke that you were making, this is how you know he's not a conservative, because a real conservative would get a shaded monocle. And that's the dead giveaway right there is the Oakleys over the eye patch. So for people who don't know, Abby and I started a podcast we call Conspiracy Pilled. And we talk about, conspiracies, obviously. And before we started this, I brought one up had you not heard of it before, Tom? The Britney Spears one?
Bits and pieces, but I would love for you to lay it out.
Okay, so yeah, we were talking about Bush.
It's Rob's favorite. He was telling me before we went live. It's Rob's favorite conspiracy theory.
Well, mostly we just wanted to see if we could get Rob to say leave Britney alone. So we're gonna pick on Britney Spears for a little while. But there's this conspiracy that's been floating around the internet for a while that Britney's meltdowns were actually to help. She's adding it to the.
Make sure you spell it right.
You got to add the red yarn later. Okay, sweet. So she's adding it to the conspiracy board. Britney Spears is adding to the MK Ultra conspiracy board. All right, so she's doing that while I explain. So there's a conspiracy theory that's been floating around for a long time that Britney Spears' meltdowns were actually to help cover up for her bestie George W. Bush. So this one comes from Vice. I'll just kind of steal some notes from here first. So if you guys didn't know, Britney Spears actually came out with her full unfledged support for George W. Bush in the documentary Fahrenheit 9/11. So we'll start with that real quick.
Honestly, I think we should just trust our president in every decision that he makes, and we should just support that, and be faithful in what happens.
Do you trust this president?
Yes, I do.
Which I think, I don't know what you guys think, but even back in, what was that, 2004-ish, it seems weird for a celebrity to come out in favor of Republican. It almost seems like career suicide even then.
Yeah, he probably had to pay her a lot, or they had a lot on her. One of the two, right?
One of the two. Yeah, so, but then it gets weirder. So every one of Bush's, down points in his presidency, Britney does something. So on January 5th, 2005, a year after the Bush, or a week before U.S. states versus Scooter Libby was supposed to start, Britney married her childhood best friend, Jason Alexander, in Las Vegas and annulled her marriage 55 hours later. So basically the entire news cycle went from Scooter Libby trial to Britney Spears getting married and getting annulled in just over 2 days. In April 2006, Bush's approval rating hit a low at 38%, and Britney drives a car around with her infant Sean Preston on her lap rather than a car seat. In November 2006, the days before the midterm elections, where it was not looking good for Republicans, because it's usually never good for the incumbent. Midterms aren't. So right then, that's when she announces her split from Kevin Federline. It's all over the news. In 2007, Bush announces the reformation of Al-Qaeda, and that's the same night that Britney sneaks out of rehab, shaves her head, and attacks a paparazzi van with an umbrella, which is funny because even I remember that more than the reformation of Al-Qaeda story. What do you guys think? The last one I'll say is Attorney General Alberto Gonzalez admits that mistakes were made in the firing of 8 U.S. attorneys who didn't seem loyal enough to Bush, and that's the same day that the story leaks about Britney having an affair with a musician in rehab. And then in 2008, towards the end of Bush's presidency, that's kind of when the news about her dries up. So
I don't know. I don't know if enough
Britney defender over here.
No, I'm just saying, I don't think enough of George Bush's base would logically care enough about Britney Spears to be distracted by these stories.
Yeah.
Was he trying to distract his base or just the world?
Or just have it in the news cycle?
Just get people talking about one thing instead of a different thing.
What do I got to do to get Rob to cry and say, leave Britney alone? That's all I want to know. What's the button I have to push? But no,
you haven't really said anything mean about her, or
I wonder if she's honest about having actual support for Bush and wanting to believe in what she was saying in that moment in the documentary. Then maybe all of her craziness just is correlating with bad news for the administration. If she's watching hey, Bush is tanking at a 38%, and then she's like, fuck. So she grabs her son and goes in because she's all pissed off and doesn't realize hey, that's a bad thing in the news. Or the one before it. I think each of these are kind of reactions to her president not doing so hot. It's not that she's covering for him. It's that she's reacting to watching her guy lose.
Yeah. So the real conspiracy actually delves a little bit deeper. So beyond just being paid off or just being a fan of Bush, we talked about on our first episode, MK Ultra. You guys familiar with MK Ultra at all?
I've never heard of that. What do you
No,
mean? What
what's
are you
MK
talking about?
Ultra?
What are you talking about?
The very real government conspiracy where they used LSD and brainwashing to create cultural icons to distract the public with. So it basically goes into that. Like she's got a tattoo of a butterfly, so it links back to Project Monarch and things like that. I don't know. I don't really believe
everybody with a butterfly tattoo is part of Project Monarch.
She has openly said like she's been sex trafficked, and that's, I mean, you can
she
take that
also
for
like has the split personality thing going on. Like she's spoken a British accent for over a year of her life.
right.
Just
Like sometimes
randomly.
she's Brittany, and then sometimes she's the other like personality that she went by for like an entire album.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a big thing of a lot of celebrities. They have these split personalities. We're going to talk about Anne Heche this week, and that's one of the things. She would call herself Celestia and came up with her own like religious language and said she was Jesus reincarnated and stuff like that.
Yeah, someone had said that Anne Heche just took a bad bump of coke with fentanyl in it.
I think that's the official story. I don't know. Like it's weird, but like it is one of those things. Like one of the
There's
other
no
ones,
good
Courtney
bump
Love.
of coke, by the way.
There's
No such thing as a good.
Have you guys ever heard of Courtney Love was in rehab or not rehab? Was in she was in rehab at some point in her life, but she was in therapy at 3 years old for schizophrenia, and they actually gave her LSD at 3 years old.
Damn, that's what you have to tell
That
me
really
now?
happened.
And then she killed Kurt Cobain.
And then she killed Kurt Cobain. So I don't know. We're just it's kind of a off. It's not really on the tough stuff we normally
All right,
talk
that's
about.
enough. Leave Brittany alone.
Frank.
Yeah, we'll leave Brittany alone.
finally, Rob. No, so Frank
Frank-
leaves for 1 second, and this show turns into conspiracy pilled. So if you like conspiracy theories, check out Conspiracy Pilled on Wednesday nights at 7.
Yeah, on YouTube. That's the pitch. So leave Brittany alone and come to our channel instead. I do have another story I wanted to get to, talking about people invading other people's homes. Did you guys see that there was a homeowner that found a homeless person in her son's bed?
What?
Yeah, check this out. This homeowner
Make
found
yourself at home, why don't you? This is the hard to believe moment a total stranger breaks into a house in Portland. The woman makes her way to the boy's bedroom and climbs up, then proceeds to lie down and take a nap next to that pile of clothes.
Yeah, so this lady literally breaks into another person's home, lies in their bed. Of course, it happens in Portland. If it's going to happen anywhere.
Yeah, it's
and
Portland.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this is news.
Yeah, well, it's news because the DA let the intruder go free without bail the very next day. Which again, it's Portland, so I'm not sure why it's news or not.
So,
Have you noticed a change in the word criminal? So things that are actually against the law, not criminal. But
MAGA
Trump's
Republicans.
criminal. DeSantis is a criminal. All the Republicans are criminals.
Your reaction to their crime is criminal. You're
Yeah, what is
exposing
it?
their crime, criminal. You're
What did they say?
reacting and saying
Republicans
no.
pounce?
Resistance is criminal.
Republicans pounce.
Yeah, every story is Republicans pounce instead of Democrats break the law. A lady breaks into a person's home. Yeah, it's always on the reaction, and then if it's the other way around, it's flip flopped.
Did you see the other one where the lady? Oh, I'm sorry to make you off.
Go ahead.
There was a lady that snuck into a man's apartment, and the lady was all crazy. Maybe we watched this together, but I don't think so. She sneaks into the guy's apartment similarly, but she takes a bath, and then she gets in his bed, and she ends up having a poop stain on it. It's all crazy, and that's very similar to this.
Amber Heard.
So this is not even a bad story. It's just a nap on the bed is nothing compared to that other one.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that story. If you could pull it up, we could bring it up in a little bit.
I don't think we can pull it up.
Oh, yeah, probably not.
No, she at one point she's in a bath. I don't think we're able to do that. She's
No, Rob
another
said that
person
thing-
from Portland.
Rob said that thing about the MAGA Republicans criminals. Did you guys see what Mazie Hirono said this week?
I did, but do you have it?
Did she say that we need to get violent, or they're going to be violent, or something about they're going to kill you or kill us?
So she said she was calling a literal call to arms.
There it is.
Yeah, so let me pull this up really quick. This is Mazie Hirono this week. It's one thing to say fight like hell, go and peacefully protest. That is insurrection. That's why we've got the January 6th trial, a year and a half later. But Mazie Hirono can actually say literal. Oops, wrong. There we go. Literal.
She's
call
not
to
mincing
arms.
words. It's actually saying the word.
Yeah.
Oh, so many of us have been on the side of a woman's right to choose and abortion rights for decades. If you add up all of the years of all of us fighting that battle, this battle, it's going to be over 100 years, I'd say. So I'm glad to join my colleagues.
I think I'm going to skip towards the end. I think she says this.
And note that a lot of the very people who talk about requiring people to wear a mask, that is interfering with their personal freedoms, but they think nothing of forcing women to have babies. So asking somebody to wear a mask, oh my goodness, that is just, too much. But forcing a woman to have a baby, not a problem.
Okay, I think I pulled up the wrong clip, guys.
Talk about hypocrisy.
I mean, she's right, though.
What are you talking about here, though?
She is correct.
She's correct on what?
Just that you shouldn't have to be forced to wear a mask, and you should have to have your children. Her reaction is stupid, but what she's saying is correct. Yeah, that's how we feel. Go on, next. She's like,
right?
they want to have you not be masked by force and to not kill your infant. How dare they?
She probably charged her Tesla with a generator.
Can anyone do the math on how long sex education took to make people completely unaware of where babies came from?
Say that again.
What?
Yeah.
50 years. It took 50 years for sex education in schools to completely confuse the population about where babies come from.
Oh, I think it took less time because people still knew this 20 years ago. I think now it's like, well, maybe, I would say now it's gone it's what do they say about it? It's gradual and then it's sudden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So change happens gradually and then all at once. That's
ketchup coming out of a bottle.
It's like ketchup coming out of the bottle. People usually use the frog analogy. If you boil a frog in a boiling pot of water, you just turn the heat up a little bit at a time. It won't jump out until it's dead.
I say 50 years. That's when
jump out after.
Yeah, it'll jump out after zombie frogs. I don't know how you. I don't know how you don't know about
Shut
zombie
up,
frogs.
PJ. What are you trying to say?
I found the thing I was trying to show
go
you.
ahead, Rob.
I pulled up the wrong thing.
I'm a guest here. I get go ahead,
Rob.
I say 50 years because that's when the that's kind of the height or the downside of the sexual revolution. That was the kind of the catalyst that kicked all this off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So here's that clip I was talking about.
Right attack on women in this country. That is how I see it. That is how more and more women and those who support our right to make decisions about our own bodies. That is how we see it. And why? Because that's what's happening. Madam President, I yield the floor, but clearly, this is a literally call to arms in our country.
Literally.
Floor.
Not figuratively.
Literally a call to arms. Yeah.
Literally a call to arms.
So fight like hell, go and protest, make your voice heard peacefully and patriotically is a call to arms, but literally a call to arms is not a call to arms.
Not a call to arms.
Makes sense of this one to me.
That's just her being, telling them to go peacefully protest. That's all.
It's her not understanding what the word literally means is actually what it is. Maisie is an idiot. She really is.
She's an idiot, but you can't, I don't know. You can't just say literally call to arms and people just write it off as her being an idiot.
Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah.
We shouldn't.
Yeah, but Rob's point was true as well. Like the sexual revolution. I think that we forget the slippery slope argument. We've been told it's like when they tell you over and over and over again something doesn't exist, and then you start making different arguments. I've made this point before where it's like, even when we were talking about, bring up conspiracy pilled again, when people bring up the idea, like when someone says jet fuel can't melt steel beams, and then you're like, well, people say that all the time, you can't keep saying that. It's like, well, it actually literally is true, but they say it enough that you're like, oh, well, I've got to find another argument, right? So that's what they're doing with this, is they say, well, the slippery slope's a bad argument, you got to find a new argument. But it's exactly true. Like with I talk about this with Obergefell. It didn't start there, but Obergefell was part of the slippery slope that led to men and women are interchangeable in marriage. Therefore, men and women are interchangeable. But it started far earlier, like Rob said, in the sexual revolution. So it didn't start with the gay rights stuff. And I think that's something that people get wrong, is it started with, Tinder is as bad for our society as anything. So it started with free love movement. It started with all of these things, and it's just continued and gotten worse. The slippery slope goes back at least that far. And I would say it goes back even more, like 100 years in certain aspects. If you look at stuff like Jekyll Island and the corporations and the government kind of getting in bed with each other in 1912. So
I think people think of the slippery slope as this like horizontal thing, and I think of it more of as a pyramid. The truth is very, very difficult, and you can go down from it in any direction really quickly. And I think that, you could swing the pendulum too far. I've switched metaphors, but the truth is a very difficult thing to get a hold of, and it's all slippery all the way down in any direction.
Yeah, I'd say to that point, when PJ says there are those interjections that lose their credibility or their steam over time because they get used out, or they get they become almost a cliche. You know, jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Now you're almost making yourself out to be a whack because you're saying that thing that all the crazy people say. Like, that's kind of how it's projected. So that's almost like a wheel that loses its traction. Like, it has no more tread. You can't use it anymore. We have to find a new thing to climb back up that pyramid to get righted. If that makes sense.
Right.
How do we make their stuff run out of steam? How do we make their stupid statements like forcing a woman to have birth? Right,
well, we mock
stop
them,
using
right? Like
it.
we are. Like we say, there's no like birthing person. We use that over and over to the point where they hate hearing it because we mock it.
I'll tell you what, too.
Like the teacher was saying, "Oh, we call each other maps," and that she was mocking them. They fired her.
Yeah, I want to bring that story up next, but I want to say this too. I think one of the ways we do it is we stop arguing this people as if they have a legitimate argument. I think that's the thing. Like, I've had a lot of people reach out to me that want to debate on this subject or that subject, and I've just gotten to the point where I'm like, why would I give someone credibility as if this argument has merit? We got to stop giving the idea, the absolutely obviously ridiculous idea that men can be women and women can be men, and that there are 76,000 genders, any room at all. So, yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, Rob. Rob looks like he wants to say something. Cactus.
Yeah, we've gone too far.
Gone too far?
No, I'm saying
was it about forcing women to give birth?
No.
While we're at it, shout out to Real Truth Cactus. She is amazing. She's here every stream. She makes us memes. You should follow her on Twitter. She's one of the kindest, best people who exist on Twitter. Period.
Yeah.
That means there's at least one kind person on Twitter. So that's the one.
Yeah.
That's how
I'm
we know
definitely
she's
not one of them.
That's how we know she's a Fed. Just kidding, Cactus. Just kidding. No, did you have something you wanted to say, Rob? Because I know if not,
yeah,
I
don't
know
be
that,
bashful.
No, it was too far back.
Too far back, you lost it.
Not good.
All right.
I don't want to circle back.
Circle back to that. Circle back.
Let's skip the circle back.
Now I'm adding that button to my soundboard again because it's too good. I don't know why I ever took it off. You know, when we replaced Jen Psaki with Karine Jean-Pierre, I was like, oh, we don't need this anymore. And
traction, pyramids, pendulums. Rob, anything coming to you?
Truth.
Reminding you? No. Okay.
Slippery slopes.
Well, if you think about it, just cut me off. That's what I expect everybody to do is just cut me off, or I'll just talk over them. So Tom brought up this Texas school teacher. So if you guys are not familiar, I've seen pretty much every mainstream conservative host talk about this story, and I don't think I've seen one yet actually address the truth of this story, and that's why I did on my show, and I wanted to bring it up here as well. So the article, and I'll bring this up from Not the Bee. It says this Texas school teacher was fired for saying we shouldn't judge pedophiles, quote, just because they want to have sex with a 5-year-old. Which, if that was the whole headline, which is what everybody's reporting, it's disgusting and awful. But I don't think that's the full story, and that's what the Not the Bee was reporting. So I just want to play this clip for you guys to get what it is that people were reacting to and being upset about, and why they might not be right on this.
Stop it, Diego. We're not going to call them that. We're going to call them MAPs. No. Minor attracted persons. No. So don't judge people just because they want to have sex with a 5-year-old.
Yeah, so you guys can hear it there. She says, we're going to call them minor attracted persons. Don't judge someone just because they want to have sex with a 5-year-old. What's your guys, like, without reading the article, what's your initial response to this?
You said she's mocking the people who say that? She's not actually saying that?
That's not how it's been reported, but that's what this article is saying. Yeah, and I wanted to
the headline just says, teacher, defending pedophilia, right? What was the headline on that?
The headline from Not the Bee says, it says, this Texas teacher was fired for saying we shouldn't judge pedophiles just because they want to have sex with a 5-year-old, but it might be a masterclass and things taken out of context. So the last part, but it might be a masterclass and things taken out of context, I've only seen on Not
That's
the
generous. Bee. Yeah, that's because everywhere else it just says, like, a teacher was fired because she said you shouldn't judge pedophiles. And then it has that quote.
So there's two things that instantly jumped out at me at this. First of all, like, just her tone of voice, I kind of listened to it. I'm like, I know it's an 18-second clip, but am I wrong for thinking she sounds like she's being sarcastic? Like the type of stuff we do all the time, like the type of stuff we say on this show all the time that could be taken out of context. And then the other thing, I started looking around. I didn't see any leftists complaining that she was fired. I saw a lot of right-wingers praising the fact that she was fired, and I didn't see any leftists concerned about it. And that was my next tipping off point. So when I found this article, it kind of clarified what I thought. So this comes from one of the students. It says she was expressing how it was ridiculous how we might not be able to call people pedophiles, that we'll probably have to start calling them MAPs because it might be offensive to them. The class agreed with her. Basically the school board looked into it, decided she was mocking that, said she was getting off the curriculum, and then fired her. So the school board is the woke people, not the teachers. So people are mad at the teacher.
So
and the real problem here is that the school board. Right. They're destroying her reputation, and the school board is looking like heroes. Like, this is a Texas school. Look, they're not woke. But unfortunately, even in Texas, the public school system is woke beyond saving, I think. So
I think people don't talk about this, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but my mom taught me this when I was younger, that everything's a slippery, pornography is a slippery slope. And like, it's the same with drugs. You start using pornography, and then you start getting into more and more insane things. And the natural progression of pornography use is to child pornography. And I think people just don't talk about that. It's either too child or too really violent. Those are the two places it goes.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Rob? I want to give you a chance to speak before I go on.
I'm processing through that, so I'm not going to come on here and act like I have never looked at pornography. I mean, I'll be brutally honest. This was something I struggled with for a good part of my adult life, and thanks to my faith and the Lord, I'm free of it now, which is incredible. So, as somebody who engaged in that at a very young age and through probably like all of my 20s, I don't think that that's the direction that I was ever headed in, but I also feel like you can't prove or disprove that statement. It's almost like the statement about power, right? Power corrupts absolutely. Well, power when yielded a certain way may not corrupt absolutely. So,
yeah, I think the statement is power corrupts absolute. Power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. So, whether or not it's always going to end out in violence, or I guess we have to add in a third thing there. That is, if people actually break away from it and put it down, then it doesn't result in those two things.
Exactly.
So
just to answer PJ's question. Oh, sorry. Well, PJ asked if we thought that the woman sounded sarcastic or if she had sounded like she was being serious. And I just thought she sounded like she could have either been being earnest and serious, like we know a lot of our like lefty, naggy, annoying teachers could have sounded like. She sounded like she could have been doing that, or she could be doing like what any of the four of us would do to mock those people. So I don't know. She could have been mocking, or she could have been serious and be the people that we mock.
She did have that school marmy tone, but she didn't have an angry tone. And that's why I think Tom's right. You could have taken it either way. She was school marming her children like, oh, this is what we're going to do, kids. This is the nice and polite thing to do. Or it could have been a very sarcastic tone, because it's exactly the tone that I would have taken saying that phrase. So
I'm going to pull this comment in. Porn is designed to make you seek out more and more edgy and taboo images. It's like the drugs thing. You have to get more and more for your hit, and the brain won't get the best dopamine hit without going further and further. So it depends on which direction you're going. I don't think it always has to go toward. But thank you for that comment. That was very thoughtful.
Yep. I would add to that. Porn is designed to do that, and your brain is designed that way. So things that can be designed to exploit your, monkey lizard brain will be, and that's phone games, that's pornography on online, that's any other thing that you can be tricked into becoming addicted to.
The good side of this is like when I swim, if I swim 1 mile, the next day my brain's like, you should do 2. Like that's the good side of that.
Yep. Sugar is the same way. A lot of other things, oxygen, trying to cut back,
Yeah, Abby's right to bring this issue up though, because it's unfortunately it is the issue of our time, the greatest spoken of issue. Because to put it in one way, like it's impossible to escape. It is impossible. It's an absolutely unfair burden to put on men in our society, on boys in our society. The fact that they have to see this everywhere they turn. You can't get on the internet. You can't watch TV. You can't watch a movie. You can't be anywhere without being inundated by this. Instagram, no matter what you do on Instagram, it is going to push half-naked ladies towards you all the time. They do that on purpose. So it's something that I think every man who's honest struggles with. There was a study that said 96% of men have watched porn at one point in their life, and I think the other 4% were liars. So
no, they're Amish.
They're Amish.
I want to share something.
They have Rumspringa. They've seen porn.
I don't share this very often, but I do want to share it. So my dad pretty heavily used porn throughout my childhood, and it was something that was kind of always an undercurrent in our house. And he would kind of he was so angry at, because he knew what he was doing was wrong, and he was angry. And so whenever we'd watch a movie with a woman in an outfit that made him feel a certain type of way, he would call attention to it. And he accidentally groomed me into being attracted to women. And I think that this is something that happens where kids, through pornography, can be walked into homosexuality. This is something I have just had to be very intentional about correcting in my life, because I was taught to be attracted to women, and that's not what I was designed for. And I'm very happily married to a man, and people don't talk about this stuff.
See, that's where Rob was 100% right earlier, that this stuff started with the sexual revolution. It didn't start with the whole gay marriage stuff. It didn't start with the homosexuality community, the LGBT community. It started by perverting sex and its use amongst straight people. And that's why we got to where we're at. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I want to say also, good on you, Abby, for sharing that. I know that's not easy to share. I would also just add to that another perspective. Anything that's overly sexualized at an early enough age is traumatizing to a brain that's not developed enough to accept it and understand it. Yep. And so that by itself would create, okay, hey, this road already has 2 lanes. Why don't we pave 3 and 4? And that might be you, instead of being straight and a little, effeminate, now you're gay, and now you're a twink, and now you're covered in glitter in a New York bar.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So not only are children extremely impressionable, and I know this just from raising my own kids, they're extremely impressionable. They're like sponges. They absorb everything. They're also extremely imaginative. So not only are they receiving everything that's going on around them in their environment, they're processing it their own way. And then they have their own imaginations that are going to apply things in a different way. I think it's just adding to your point, Tom.
Yeah.
That's where those lanes 3 and 4 and 5 can start coming from.
Yeah. Kids are getting exposed to porn at an earlier and earlier age. And especially when they're seeing more violent types of porn, and being suggested that they could be gay, sometimes it's just like, oh, if that's what that is, I don't want it. And then they're like, well, then I must be gay.
Yeah, there's a whole thing to it. And you guys are all right about this. When you put this in front of children, it screws them up sexually. It's not this idea that it's all natural is not bared out by statistics. But I mean, well, I talked about this about the transgender thing. If you look. Also, thank you, Woofy, for the $5 super chat.
Thank you.
It says, cheers to the Pubcast, and Rob just ordered some French roast. Yes.
Thank you, Woofy.
I hope you used the working code PJ10 to get 10% off, Woofy.
Yeah, I need to work on getting a code Tom10 because it rolls off the tongue better.
It really does. Come on, Rob.
I totally. You go ahead, Rob. I got sidetracked.
Jump in real quick. PJ and I had a conversation about the codes, and I don't know if now's the time, PJ, so
go ahead.
Give me a nod.
Yeah, go ahead.
Abby doesn't know this, but I was thinking we should make this Code War fun.
It's not already fun?
More fun.
Destroying Abby, drinking blood from the skull of my enemy is fun for me, Rob. But go ahead and make it more fun.
I'm just a cup of coffee instead of the skull.
So let's give everyone a little quick context. We got 2 promo codes out there. Apparently one of them doesn't work. I'll fix that tonight. It's not true. It's not true. We got PJ10 and Abby10, and there's been this friendly competition going to seeing who can bring more sales into to the business, which is great because every sale that comes in, 15% of that sale goes to nonprofit organizations that are protecting life, right? So great fun for a great cause. Here's what I want to do to make it even more interesting. I want to let this competition run through the end of the year, and at the end of the year, we're going to tally up and see who had the biggest impact. And then we're going to take a portion of our 4th quarter donation and let the winner direct that towards a pro-life charity of their choosing. How does that sound?
Now, we got to, is it just the 2 of them, or do we have enough time? Can we get in on this as other, no, yes or no? Frank 10, Tom 10, no? Is it just
I think we're kind of far in, so it wouldn't be a level playing field, but maybe for 2023, we'll build out some more codes, and could be a great way to help.
I get it. Yeah, you don't want to have them lose and have me start late. You know,
Right? It would be too embarrassing, Tom.
Yeah. So I'm already way ahead of Abby, and I need that little bit of so I don't think so.
I'm not disclosing
we'll give
anything.
PJ that win.
Not disclosing yet.
I'll share the proceeds
Cactus
with you.
wants in on
I'll
this.
contact you, Tom, to help me figure out who we're gonna give the charity to when we beat Abby.
Cactus 10 has a nice ring to it.
I'm gonna be pumping PJ 10 so hard, people aren't gonna know what it is. PJ 10, just do it.
Yeah. Find a website, any website, put in PJ 10.
Well, no, I'll explain why, but
okay.
All I'm gonna say is you guys are neck and neck, which means Abby, you got to do better because you have a much bigger following.
It just means I've got loyal friends.
Abby should be blowing you out of the water.
Following.
Like
Are
my
they bots?
video about microwaving coffee didn't help.
I just can't imagine her coworkers at the FBI wanting to buy pro-life coffee. I think that's what it is. So,
Gosh,
right,
I had a bad joke. I don't want to go there, but you know what? I will. It's after 8:30.
Yeah,
Abby, your experience with your dad, was that what made you want to join the FBI?
Actually, it's kind of funny. My dad's twin has contracted for the FBI. True story. Yeah, so that's the connection.
All right.
So it all comes to light. Yeah, I just want to say we have 25 minutes left. So for the next 15 minutes, get in your super chats. We'll read them all at the end of the show. Yeah, we got last call at 10 minutes to 9. So get those in.
Putting up the bar stools.
Yeah. So another. I got a funny story for you guys. Because we've all seen the 87,000 IRS agents coming. But what if the 87,000 IRS agents are so they can turn in upon themselves? Because according to this, the Department of Treasury is now auditing the IRS after 1,250 IRS agents failed to pay their taxes. So I just can imagine the Spider-Man meme where everybody's pointing at each other like, "You're the tax evader, you're the tax evader," and they're all auditing each other. But yeah, apparently. It says ironically, hundreds of employees at the IRS itself may have willingly failed to pay their taxes. More than 300 of these were repeat offenders, yet the tax agency did little to discipline the tax offenders on its payroll. Before Biden's army of auditors starts harassing innocent taxpayers, let's first make sure the tax collectors have paid their own taxes. So is this a surprise to anyone that the IRS is going to come after you? But no tax, taxes for you, but no taxes for me.
We have another boomer. I'm a boomer. We're all a boomer. Can somebody help?
So it's on. So
boomer? What?
I'll explain. So no super for Noel says can't see the super chat option. So there's two things. I'll just point out about this really quick. One is please follow the Last American Pubcast on YouTube. A lot of people are watching this from Frank's channel. That's where you can do super chats. Maybe keep a second tab open because we're trying to get this channel monetized so we can do super chats here, so we can do all that great stuff here. But if you want to do the super chats, this is streaming to the Last American Pubcast YouTube channel and to Let's Be Frank's channel. So that's where you can do the super chats at. I know a lot of people that are newer have come straight to the Last American Pubcast channel, but that's how that works right now. We don't have the ability to do it here, so if you want that ability here, share this with your friends. Be propagandists for this channel, push it out. Because we have the followers, we just need the watch hours on this channel to be able to be monetized. So
thanks.
I hope that explains the answers the question. But anyway, what do you guys think about this IRS thing?
So I'm just a little confused. Is it the IRS itself that's being audited, or is it the people who didn't pay their taxes?
It's just the people, but I was just making a joke. Yeah. So yeah, 1,250, and some of these are repeat offenders. Actually, some of them were fired from the IRS and then rehired, fired for not paying their taxes, rehired, and are still not paying their taxes. And actually, it says in the article that one of the excuses given was, "I don't know how."
Well, isn't that kind of why this would be? Isn't this why this would be cover? Like they're running cover by running the story. Like, hey, I know you guys are upset about that 87,000 and all the guns and all the stuff that we've been in the news lately. The IRS isn't looking too good. People are calling for the abolishment of the IRS. So what are they going to do? Hey, look at these people that worked at the IRS that we busted. Look, we caught them. We're going to say shame on them. We're even going to expose who they are. We're repeat offender even. Couldn't you believe it? And then we're all going to go away with the next news thing, or Britney Spears does X. And then, we forget about the IRS.
Then they're going to rehire them in 3 months.
And they rehire them again. Yeah, exactly.
But
after all, they're an illegal immigrant. They're on a visa.
taxes are way too hard. My first year that I ever was on my own to pay them off of my parents, I messed up and I got audited like 2 years later and I owed like $700, which was so much at the time. It's really hard.
So they're auditing the FBI as well. That's good news.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, darn it.
I mean, like on one hand, I almost want to say these people not paying their taxes are heroes.
Right?
Right. No, I just, we should just abolish the IRS. I mean, that's,
Maybe it's
that's the
that.
truth of it.
Maybe they work at the IRS. They see how it really works. They see how it's really allocated, and they see the people who are actually taxing the hardworking American. And they go, "I'm not paying. I'm not paying any of this." Like, that I can see that being the case. Oh, cheers.
Yeah, it's funny. I hear.
Unfortunately, I think we know that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right. They are the people that would make you not want to pay your taxes.
It's funny because I've heard some I hear this from Republicans all the time. They'll be like, well, what about this thing that we should spend money on? What about this thing we should spend money on? What about where's this money going? And it wouldn't it be great? Well, let me put it this way. I hear this from libertarians too, where they go, wouldn't it be great if we actually made weed legal so we could tax it? And they're always using the argument, well, if we did this and that, we could tax this. And it seems to be weird that people that are against taxes are like trying to use that argument to get things they want approved instead of just taking the honest position of let's just get rid of a lot of taxes.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Rob,
I haven't paid any less taxes since weed became legal. All I've noticed is that more of my town smells like skunk. So
so some cons and some pros,
Yeah.
Go follow No Soup for Knowles on Twitter because she is Twitter.
Thank you, No Soup for Knowles, for the super
I would
chat.
think it would be that the libertarians could be reformed leftists, and so they're still stuck in their tactic of use the enemy's principles against them. And so they think that you care about taxation and about business, and so they say, well, I'm going to appeal to his tax business mindset, and they go, if you don't like weed, maybe we can legalize it but tax it. And that's how they're telling the conservative that. I mean, they would change their argument based on who they're talking to. They're
Right, so it's more of a
they don't actually have any
tactic.
beliefs.
Yeah,
They
it's more of a
did the
tactic.
same thing in my county with the red light program, right? The red light cameras. And the whole premise is, well, first they try to say it's for safety, and then there's a safety investigation. They realize more people are dying and getting hurt as a result, and they threw that in the trash. But they say that it's for revenue. I think that I would actually go for some of this stuff if the revenue offset the taxes. So if you could raise it, if you can get people to pay our taxes by breaking the law, awesome. But that's never the case. It's always a cash grab. It's always so they could spend more money on trash that they're not going to do right or whatever.
But even if it wasn't, Rob, I guess the point I was trying to make is that every time we make the excuse, well, what if we got money from weed smokers? What if we got money from people who broke the law? Wouldn't that be better than taxing my money? And A, it never works that way. You're still getting taxed. And two, why is the argument to give the government more money? So we can send $80 billion more to Ukraine, so we can waste more money on useless programs. Like, the issue is not that we don't have enough money. The reason we're $30 trillion in debt is not because we've not collected enough. It's not because the IRS is not catching tax cheats. It's because the government is wasteful with their money.
Not to mention
on useless crap.
Not to mention, it gives the government an even bigger incentive to create laws that make things illegal and not to regulate things that are legal. So, if they have something that's right on the edge, they can make, 5 more laws, making it more criminal for you to own 5 more attachments for your weapon. And now instantly overnight, like they did in what state you spot me that you now are overnight, you're a criminal because you own something that you didn't register. God, where was this? And so they'll
Sounds
also
a lot like SAFE Act, in which we had come down about 12 years ago in New York.
Was it Washington State? Is that what you're thinking of, Tom?
I don't know, but
They did
the
something
point
like
being,
that
the law can then just be created inversely and make sure that you have to jump through a hoop that otherwise you pay for. It's just creating an inverted tax loop where you're going to pay to, like, you register your car. You're not taxed to drive your car. You just have to pay for registration.
It's kind of the same principle why college is more expensive, though, isn't it? Like, well, as soon as we started subsidizing colleges, so a college would be like, how much could you afford? How much can a normal person afford to spend to go to college? They can spend $3,000 a year. Okay, that's what we're going to charge. It's going to be about $3,000 a year. That's how we get people to buy our service. Then the government comes in and gives them $10,000, $3,000 per student, and they go, "Oh, did I say 3,000? I meant 10,000." And that's exactly how it works. The more that we acknowledge that the government needs this money because we're $30 trillion in debt, the more they're going to find ways to spend it and up the taxes. It's this whole 87,000 IRS agents things is going to cost us $80 billion a year. Or more than, it's something like that. It's going to cost us around $80 billion a year for these agents. So they're going to find more reasons to tax you so that way they can justify. Like, did we really think that they're going to get $80 billion more out of people by hiring all these agents? And if they are, that should scare the crap out of everyone.
Well, 80 billion is a drop in the bucket when you consider how much 40 billion was for Elon Musk or for Twitter or for sending 80 billion to Ukraine. I mean, that's nothing. When you find $80 billion, you just found it. We sent it to Ukraine. I would be more concerned with the arguments that people will now start to make about, like you said, hey, if we legalize weed, we can then tax it. Well, that just gives the government incentive to make other things illegal. Then you'll have to argue, let's legalize that thing and allow you to tax it. The government's just going to make the argument then that they can tax anything they want and then give you access to it.
Yeah.
And the thing is
like
that
tea.
Like anything.
Like
And
tea.
that is what it's going to be. Everything will be taxed, whether it's yours or not. And it will be cyclical. And that's what that 87,000 new employees are for.
Yeah.
It's not just for taxing your property. It's for taxing everything.
Yeah. And if you think about it, the rich, who they always like to talk about taxing, the rich, whatever that means, those people all have auditors who are really, really good at making sure they do their taxes correctly. The people who are going to get audited by these new agents are the people who can't afford an accountant. Sorry, that's what I meant. Accountant, to make sure that they didn't mess up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you also you also have to trust the government's going to use that money. Whenever you make an argument that we need to tax people for more, you have to trust the government's not going to waste it, and that's the thing that I just don't understand. If we know one thing about the government, it's that they'll waste money. If you guys, a hard thing for people to get their head around, and it's hard for me to get my head around, and I want to read more on this, is what's it called? The part of the Great Reset. They have this theory, the modern monetary theory. That's what it's called. Are you guys familiar with this? It's essentially the theory that they can print more money and then sell off their debts to China by deflating the dollar. And they're just going to keep doing this forever. What?
Yeah, inflation is good for people who hold debt.
This is in practice.
It is in practice, but that's where it comes from, is the modern monetary
It's just
theory.
an early print of a history book right now.
It's just Germany in 1944.
Yeah. If
the
you
Chinese
think about it,
collect our national parks, because we default on our loans, and we can see where that went.
Right.
Yeah. If you think about it, inflation is really, really good for people who hold debt. So the more that we are an incredibly debt-rich society, the more inflation is a good thing. And times where we've been in deflation have been really terrible for people like farmers who borrow against their year and then they grow and then pay back their debt.
Well, right. It's like a person who has minimum wage, and then you work, you get a bump in pay. You work, you get a bump in pay. You get promoted, you get a big bump in pay. Now you're not on minimum wage. Then they just increase minimum wage. Now you make minimum wage again because they're not increasing you. They just increase the guy below you. It kind of is the same principle.
I talked to a McDonald's employee not that long ago, and he was telling me the same thing. He's like, it's so weird. We're now getting the $15 an hour, and I feel like I'm not making any more money. And I looked at the guy, I was like, I'm not going to get into it with you, but it was so funny to me. Math is patriarchy.
That's a great comment right there.
So true.
It's awesome.
But yeah, when you hear it from the Fight for 15 people, they're like, I got it. Now it seems like it doesn't. It seems like I'm right where I was at $8 an hour. Why is that happening? They don't get it. So now they're fighting for 20.
Well, that's the guy that's got $5,000 in debt when the dollar's really great. That sucks. But when you have $5,000 in debt and the dollar's, nothing, you're like, yeah, whatever. We'll make that back because it's nothing to you at that point.
Yeah. Benefits.
Yeah, I got a theory on that too. As I'll guarantee you, a lot of those people don't even know how to manage money in the first place. So if you don't know how to manage $12 an hour, you're not going to know how to manage $50 an hour. And I said 50. You're not. You're going to be living the same way you were living. You might have a more expensive car parked on your driveway at a high interest rate.
Yep. Still
about it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And this I've tweeted this before. The only people who think Biden's doing a good job are either the people who are not paying attention, who are so careless with their wallets that they don't notice the increase in prices because they haven't been keeping track this whole time, and the rich who see it as a gain to put smaller businesses out of business. So they're like, we can weather this. We're rich enough to weather this economic downturn, and we're going to come out of this stronger because our competition will all be dead.
Maybe. Yeah. I think the people who think Biden's doing a good job are not people who are actually thinking that, but they're people who are repeating it mindlessly because they've been told that and they don't think about it. I think that's really the case, right? Like whoever's supporting Joe are people who are not thinking about it.
There's a reason why we've never seen a pro Joe Biden T-shirt or a rally with more than 7 people. It's
Just to
because
play
it's not that
semantics.
people didn't. It's not because people didn't vote for him or don't support him. It's because the only reason they voted for or support him is because he's not Trump.
You've seen a lot of anti-Trump stuff, and that's really
Exactly.
the pro-Biden shit.
Yeah, there's no actual pro Biden. There's only anti-Trump.
Trump ran his campaign and Biden's.
He did. So we're about to get into last call. I wanted to play one more video before we do that, because we were talking about Mazie Hirono saying seriously if she does mean seriously, that's actually a terrible thing, and if she doesn't, then she has no idea how to use the word. Biden does this all the time, and he did it this week in the weirdest way possible. So I just want to share this with you guys.
I say some of my colleagues have been around long. How long we've been fighting for them? How long we've been taking on these interests? From the time I got to the Senate 720 years ago.
What?
Serious, think about it.
No, serious. Think about it. He's serious, folks.
I'm serious. Think about it.
The time he got into Senate 720 years ago, he's serious. It's like the crowd gives him an out. They're like, okay, we're gonna laugh so we can pretend he doesn't have dementia, and then he ruins it and he goes, no, but serious. Think about it.
Hold on.
720.
Hold on. I think that comment was there to detract from the claim that he's been fighting pharma.
Yeah, of course it was.
Like, how do we fly over Joe Biden has been fighting pharma?
Right.
Commanding the country to get jabbed?
I saw Tom's face when he said pharma because I think he was like, what the hell did you say? Let me play this again.
Play it one more time and then I want to comment.
I'm glad you caught it, but it doesn't sound like pharma.
Say some of my colleagues have been around long. How long we've been fighting for them? How long we've been taking on these interests?
Or Irma?
Who's
Irma?
I got to the Senate 700.
What were you gonna say, Tom?
So this is he's trying to say, I don't know the word, but he's saying I'm fight for the, and I think he's saying for, and we're giving him too much credit, thinking that he says for pharma or thinking that he says a number there. I think at the very end of that clip, we're giving him credit for a 7. I think he's just going 7. Like I think we should play it again.
Yeah, let's play it. Let's
slow mo. Just really break this down.
How long?
Everyone close your eyes.
Fighting for them. How long we've been taking on these interests?
So he couldn't. So there it is. Pause that.
Senate.
He couldn't remember. It wasn't for and then he stops. He goes, and then for these interests, because he doesn't know what the word is. So he goes, how long have we been fighting for these interests? Because he can't remember what it is.
How long we've been fighting for them? How long we've been taking on these interests? From the time I got to the Senate 720 years ago.
720 was pretty clear.
That was pretty clear.
He didn't stutter on that one.
You know what? I take it back. Yeah, he was really clear on that one.
He was clear on the 700.
Very clear on the 700.
And then he was very clear in saying, no, I'm serious. After they give him the out, after they're like, oh, he's joking about his age. No, he's serious, guys. So we're in the final 10 minutes. We've got some super chats to get to. If you guys have any more super chats you want to get in, this is the time.
Yeah, I've got one here from Odysee real quick because it's only the first. From Salty Escargot, Abby, listening. They say, thanks for sharing that story, Abby. That was pretty cool of you. Huge respect to you. My favorite part of Saturdays is getting to tune into the show. I'm assuming for you. So there you go. From Salty Escargot over on
Thank
Odysee.
you, Salty Escargot.
Thank you, Salty.
Cheers.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, Abby. It's not easy to share those moments, but they do help. I saw a lot of people in the chat talking about that, so thank you for sharing that. So we also got from Waffle Salter at the beginning of the show, $25 super chat. Fact check, drink, my favorite fact check. Thank you, Waffle Salter. We've got Mental Imbalance. It says, ridiculous to ship them anywhere to prove a point when it's costing taxpayers. We kind of covered this. Like, it's a tactic. You can agree or disagree, but my take is that if you send them across the border and they're back the next week, you're charging the taxpayers more ultimately. So
ridiculous to keep them where they are.
Say what?
Ridiculous to keep them where they are when it's costing taxpayers. Like we could add when it's costing taxpayers to any argument. Doesn't make it right.
Sure. So then we got if broke fix. They said $5 super chat. There are illegal enemy combatants in the border surge. Absolutely not a lie. Joseph Rivera says can't live without great coffee. That one's to you, Rob.
So true. Use code ABBY10.
Yeah, I just want to say this too. Like, I legitimately love the coffee. Like, I don't just say that because I like Rob or because I like the principles, which I do. It's actually really good coffee, no joke. So
I'll tell you why real quick. Yeah. So the coffee's roasted to order, which means that it hasn't been sitting on a shelf for 6 months. It's actually roasted after the customer orders and then shipped directly to the customer. You get the freshest possible coffee that way. And it's also specialty grade. So my roasting partner has been scored by the American Specialty Grade Coffee Association. Every coffee is rated 85 plus, which is a really good score. So
boom, roasted.
It is good coffee. Roasted.
Boom, roasted to order.
Based and roasted.
Yeah. All right. So just for go ahead, Abby.
Oh, I might be a coffee Philistine, but it smells so good and I use it literally every day. So
yeah. Yep, same. So
care products.
Try Neutrogena coffee.
Puts the coffee on its skin.
Joseph Rivera, $2 super chat says prime time Alex Stein. So I think Rob's like
$9.99. Pour one out for that.
Pour one out for Dan Crenshaw.
For Dan
prime time eye patch McCain. Yeah. So Waffle Salter with the big $50 super chat says YouTube is asshole. Was messing with me trying to say thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, Rob.
Good work, Waffle Salter.
We can just skip by no soup for Knowles super chat. We'll read it. It says Abby Libby Pubcast Queen.
Honestly, better her than anyone else.
That's true. I don't think I want the title Pubcast Queen, so that's all on you. Yeah. Ocean Breathe Salty. Cheers, y'all. Thank you, Ocean Breathe Salty. My friend Woofy Productions over here says, cheers to the Pubcast, and Rob just ordered some French roast to try it out. You will not be disappointed, Woofy. It's good stuff. So I got to meet Woofy in person last week over at BaseCon. That was a good time. And we were talking about the Amish earlier. Somebody said Amish Paradise in the chat. And true story, we actually performed Amish Paradise at the Weird Al song. Yeah. We performed it at BaseCon. So,
really? You have a video of that?
The only one I did the vocals on. I rapped up Amish Paradise.
We need a video of that.
There is a video on the internet. I'll find and clip it. So
no, don't clip it. Just find it. We'll clip it for ourselves.
And then Joseph Rivera, Salty Army's Legion, Re. Well, thank you guys so much. Let me see if there's anything else going on in the chat. Where are we at time? We got 3 minutes left. Is there anything else you guys wanted to get in or talk about? So, Frank's in the chat, says thank you, mods. Thank you, Frank.
Yes, thank you to the mods.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Frank. Frank, go be with your family, we thought.
Yeah, go be with your family, Frank. He's checking in on us. He's watching, going, what have I allowed to happen?
The YouTube got taken down
in my absence.
Check out my Telegram.
Wow, Frank, this is not the place for you to come into our stream and promote your own crap.
Frank, that's against the rules of the chat. We're going to boot you.
Yeah, can we get a mod here to take care of this Let's Be Frank character? I don't like the self-promotion.
It's an impersonator.
Nobody tell Frank this show turned into Conspiracy Pilled after he left, okay?
He started it. I wasn't even going to bring up the Britney thing. I wasn't prepared to bring it up. He's just like, you want to talk about that Britney conspiracy? I was like, no, I guess. So if it was bad, it's because I wasn't prepared. Yeah. Conspiracy Pilled is a lot more put together than that was.
Yeah. What are we
Salty D says, I'm on it. What
are we covering on Conspiracy Pilled next week?
So Conspiracy Pilled, Wednesdays, 7:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're covering, is Anne Hesh or Hesh? I don't know. I've heard it.
I thought it was Hesh.
The reason I thought it was Hesh is because she had a podcast called Love and Hesh, and it makes more sense than Hesh. But it's one of those. Love and Hesh. I don't know. That was her radio show or podcast, something like that. But basically, Anne Hesh died of a car accident last month, and there was a lot of conspiracy theories that she was killed by the well, I guess you could say Illuminati, the powers that be, because she was part of the MK Ultra program, same as Britney and Courtney Love and a lot of these other people. So interesting subject to be talking about. Real Truth Cactus says sub to Conspiracy Pilled. It's so good. You guys should also go check out Tom at America Floats. He's not. Are you still on YouTube or are you just doing Rumble?
Hey,
well, YouTube.
Minute.
Oh, sorry. Go. Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I wanted Tom to finish his. What were you saying, Tom?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I have like a tiny little appendage still on YouTube. It's called Sinking with a Y, not Sinking with an I. It's all spelled out. But yeah, I'm on Odysee, BitChute, Rumble, Mindscab, Getter, all those others. It's called America Floats everywhere else.
Awesome.
It's
also
a good
Waffle
show.
Salt. It is. Yeah, I watch it when I can. Waffle Salter says, $20 super chat says, don't have the followers I had before the latest Twitter ban. I try spreading the word about all of your channels and podcasts. I feel important than ever. You're all veterans in the info war to me, at least in my book. Thank you, Waffle Salter.
Thank you, Waffle Salter. You're always a familiar name. Appreciate you.
Hero of the chat.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate Waffle Salter. We appreciate all you guys so much for coming here and checking out the Last American Pubcast. I feel so weird because I'm like looking through the stuff trying to find the actress. This is Frank's job, okay? So if it's bad, it's his fault. But no, we will be back next Saturday from 7 to 9. Thank you, Rob, for coming on, man. It was really great to talk to you.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah,
Rob,
had a
nice to
great
meet
time.
you.
Thanks for having me. You too, Tom.
All right, yeah, we'll have to have Rob back at some point. Peace out, everyone. God bless. Have a great week. We will see you next week.